Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I am going to recap a 1997 romance film, named Inventing the Abbotts. So, let's begin. Doug Holt thinks his childhood and immaturity ended quite early. His childhood ends in 1957. He is born as the last born to the Holt family, and his father is dead, so he is raised by a single mother. He has an elder brother, Jacey, who is quite the opposite of him. He thinks that as of 1957, he doesn't know so much about his brother until he eventually did. His mother does tell him of his brother's inventive skills. Despite being born in the same womb, it seems to be the only common thing between himself and his brother is that they are both Holts. Jacey's invention skills were top-notch, and his mother would say if the Abbott didn't exist, Jacey would have invented them. The Abbott is a rich family in their community, Haley, Illinois. Around 1957, they are richer than most people, and the family has 3 beautiful daughters, Alice, Eleanor, and Pamela. Every 1 or 2 years, you will see their lawn bubbling with party signs. Their father celebrates all of the girls' milestones with parties so much that Doug says when an Abbott girl gets a period, there is always a party. He says the statement around Abbott's fence, causing a fight between himself and his brother. Upon returning home, Doug draws a fake sideburn for Abbott's party. As he does his petty thing, his brother enters angrily. Jacey sees it and runs to meet their mother, asking her not to allow Doug to attend the party like that. Their mother asks Doug if he understands that the burn isn't real, and he looks like a clown, and when Doug replies affirmatively, she tells Jacey that since Doug knows what he is doing, Jacey should let him be. Jacey angrily goes to the party, and Doug arrives afterward. While Doug walks around the party commenting that the Abbott's party is always so fun that everyone will kill for an invite, his brother will do anything for one, too. Jacey dances with Eleanor, the second and the most rebellious child of the Abbott. As they dance, another guy, Steve, comes to drag Eleanor away from him. The last child of the Abbott, Pamela, comes to Doug. She asks him to leave the party for a smoke, and they both go to smoke. She comments that she likes his sideburns and says her family is celebrating her sister's engagement to a man named Peter, who, despite them knowing how much of a bully he is, she has been forced into the marriage by her father, who did it as an arranged marriage. After the conversation between Pamela and Doug, they return to the party. Doug comments that one thing about the Abbott is that no one knows them, and at the time of that party, Alice was already 2 months pregnant with Peter's child. That night, Doug finds his way home, and while looking at Abbott's house from his garage, he sees Jacey stopping by there to speak with Eleanor, and he finds Eleanor kissing Steve. Jacey walks home angrily as Doug comments that everything his brother wants, the Abbott has: the wealth, the influence, the happiness, most especially Eleanor Abbott. He encourages his brother to join him in playing tennis that night. The following day, Jacey asks Doug to follow him to drink beer. After buying the beer, they stop by the roadside to drink, and while Doug thinks of their old times, Jacey sees the bus to the Midwest Steel Desk, Mr. Lloyd Abbott's company. He tells Doug that that company should have belonged to them, and he reminds his brother that the patent of that company is in his mother's closet and Lloyd had just stolen it from his family. While Doug is of the opinion that their mother isn't stupid to drop the patent, Jacey insists on his words, claiming that if they had that company, they would have been driving the expensive cars the Abbott girls are driving and not that truck. The following day, as Jacey cleans his petrol store, Eleanor enters. She tells him she heard he is admitted to Penn and asks him how he could get into that top school. As she keeps talking to him, he refuses to reply, saying that he thought she was with Steve. She tells him that she doesn't think about whatever she does, and she leaves the thinking to her parents, since that's what they do best. She notices he is giving her silent replies and says she gets enough of that treatment from her father, and she can't accept more, so she attempts to leave, but he goes to kiss her before Pamela comes to call her. In the car, Lloyd warns Eleanor not to meet with Jacey. That day, Doug gets an early break from work. He goes to their garage and finds Eleanor having sex with Jacey. He leaves immediately, and sometimes later, Jacey leaves the city for school. At the school's library, Eleanor reads opposite Doug and keeps giving him a signal. When he bends down, he sees her greeting him on a paper between her legs, and he stands up hurriedly. One day, as he walks around, he sees Pamela, who asks him to drive her car. He says he doesn't have a license, but she insists regardless. He enters the drive, and during their trip, she asks him why he doesn't invite her for dates or attempt to go out with her. He tells her it's because he thinks they see each other every time and are not dating, so it doesn't matter. He feels bad about her statement and decides to invite her on a date that night. Since the issue with Eleanor and Jacey, he has kept picturing the scene in his mind, and at a time, he starts picturing himself under Eleanor. He tells his mother about the date and goes to Abbott's house. He meets Pamela at home, although she says her parents are out on a date with Peter and Alice, and she is the only one home, so she can't allow him inside. She eventually allows him. He wonders if she hates him because she loves him, and they start to kiss. His eyes are fixated on Eleanor's portrait by the house, and when he proceeds to touch Pamela, she nervously runs away. He goes to apologize to her, and her parents arrive about the same time, so he hides. Before jumping out of the house through the window, he overhears an argument between Peter and Alice so much that Peter knocks on her door violently, and Lloyd says he doesn't want to intervene because, to him, Alice is spoilt. Eventually, Jacey returns for summer, and he picks up from where he has left things with Eleanor. They begin to have sex again, and one night, Lloyd finds them. When he asks her what she is doing, she says she is fucking Jacey. The following day, Mrs. Abbott, Joan, speaks to Doug's mother, Helen. Doug is shocked about this because up until that day, he has never seen his hire and Joan together, and Helen has never attended their party. Joan tells Helen what Jacey has done and says she thinks Jacey should be disciplined, but Helen says she isn't doing anything. She asks Joan why she should believe her. That visit leads to the end of Eleanor and Jacey, and Eleanor is taken out of the city completely. However, the Abbott lifestyle continues without her, and another party is organized. On Doug's way to the party, he notices Jacey isn't going, and Jacey asks him not to go. Jacey says he thinks their mother had affairs with Lloyd after their father's death, which explains how Lloyd got their father's patent. Doug refuses to believe that and goes to the party, but he gets into a fight with Steve, who tries to tease him while he is dancing with Pamela. He returns home angrily, and Jacey asks him to play tennis. It's Christmas period, and Jacey refuses to come home. So Doug spends Christmas alone with his mother. He eventually graduates school, and during his ceremony, Jacey goes to wait for Alice by the door, and they also get to know Bryn Mawr while he gets a scholarship at Penn. The two schools are quite close. At home, Jacey tells him not to attend the same school as him and says even if he does, he has to live life on his own, which causes a fight between them the next day. Jacey tails Alice, who is going through a divorce, to a bar where he invites her to a party the following day. Meanwhile, Doug also meets Pamela while driving with his mother. Pamela's car stops by the roadside, and Helen asks him to help her. They start talking, and they get into a conversation about his father the following day. He tells Pamela that his father died before he was born. He got frozen at Mud Island, which is filled with water. He had a bet with his friends to drive on the frozen water, and he drove successfully, but it broke on his way back. Alice also goes to the so-called party, but discovers only Jacey is there. He starts seducing her, and without wasting time, they begin a secret relationship. He brings Alice home one day and gets Helen angry, as Helen says she won't accept that. Pamela also finds out Alice is going out with Jacey. She angrily leaves Doug, telling him that Jacey's influence on Eleanor made her insane. She was shipped to a mental institution and was released in less than a month. That night, Pamela saves Alice from being caught by Lloyd, and she tells Jacey the next day that Alice is waiting for him at the boathouse, only for him to meet Lloyd there. Lloyd accuses him of wanting to fuck his way to a rich man's house. He walks away to confront Alice at her house. He tells her to follow him, but Alice refuses. Lloyd warns him to keep his dick away from his daughters, and he goes home angrily and returns to school. That night, Helen tells Doug of the bet between Lloyd and his father that caused his father's death, and how Lloyd's sympathy for her made him visit every time and made Joan think they were having an affair. Doug tells her he knows, and that Jacey told him, but Jacey thought the affair was real. Helen starts crying. He eventually goes to school, and one day he walks past Pam, who has visited his school to use the library. He invites her for lunch, but she refuses, but he finds her drunk in front of his hostel one night and takes her inside to clean her up. Another time, she visits his hostel, and he takes her to his theater, and when he tries to touch her, she refuses, telling him everything is wrong. He visits his brother, and to his shock, Pamela comes too. She tells him she has come for Jacey, and Jacey also asks her if she wants to fuck. He runs out of the house angrily, and after Pamela leaves, he returns and hits Jacey. He goes to Pamela's school to find her, but he can't. Sometimes later, Jacey visits him to tell him their mother is dead. On his way home, he meets Eleanor, who now works as a steward, and he goes home for his mother's funeral. After the funeral, he packs Helen's loads, and Jacey asks him for lunch, where they apologize to each other. He shows Jacey a document he has found between Lloyd and their father, and they find out Lloyd sold the patent for a car, the same car he used for the ice bet. Jacey returns to school, although not satisfied with the truth he has heard because the truth seems as unfair as the lie he had held onto. Doug drives by the Abbott and sees Alice has returned to Peter, and the Abbott is celebrating another party. He concludes that everyone in their city had participated in inventing the Abbotts, and he confronts Lloyd, telling him he wants to talk with him. Lloyd tells him he must not know Helen if he thinks he had a chance with Helen, and the bet was not his idea, but their father's idea. Doug asks where he will meet Pamela, and Lloyd tells him. He goes there and confesses his love to her, telling her they can start all over. They walk away together, and he narrates that a year later, they married and they have 2 kids. He named his last child Helen after his mother, and the movie ends here. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. So, click any video of 3 of them, and enjoy next. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel, and please like the video, and tell us in the comment how you liked the video. I see you soon.